What is an Airbnb and how does it work? And if you want to start leveraging this powerful strategy, this video is going to walk you through everything you need to know to understand the process and to get started. Let's go. Hey there, this video is brought to you by the Real Estate Edition Inner Circle. If you're interested in taking your real estate game to the next level and getting around experts that can help you, make sure you click the link in the description. You're going to hop on the phone with one of our team members and we'll walk you through what this inner circle and mastermind is and how we're helping students just like you get to their real estate goals faster. And as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel, join our family of investors building passive income, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time we do a video. So when you're thinking about an Airbnb, the first thing you have to understand is Airbnb is not a real estate strategy, it's a platform. It's interesting, if you've ever blown your nose on a Kleenex, Kleenex is actually a brand. It's not what you actually call the little piece of paper that comes out. But Kleenex has done such a good job with marketing. They own that market, and you equate a Kleenex with the actual brand that sells the little tissues that come out of them. Well, it's the same with Airbnb. They were the first to the market, and they've really owned this market of vacation rentals. Airbnb is just simply a platform you can market your property through. It's not a way to do real estate. So when you hear Airbnb, understand people are using it synonymously with a way to do real estate. It's really the short-term rental market, and Airbnb is just one platform we use to get those properties out to people looking to book our place. So what people mean when they say Airbnb, it's a short-term rental strategy, meaning just like a hotel, you charge per night versus per week or per month. Now, are there weekly benefits to renting out Airbnb and weekly discounts? Of course, but per night is how we charge for a short-term rental property or an Airbnb. And so when you go to a hotel, it's $129 per night. It's the same with an Airbnb. You'll go to an Airbnb or a VRBO, that's a short-term rental. It's another platform. Once you go to those sites, it'll tell you the per night price because short-term rentals are rented per night. So a short-term rental is somebody who owns a house that they don't live in year-round, and they take that property and they rent it out or do a short-term rental, essentially turn it into a mini hotel, and people rent it per night while they're not living in the place. Now, this is also a strategy people use for homes they own and live in, and they buy homes for this specific purpose. Here's what that means. Let's say I live in my home here in Phoenix, and I want to go away for June, July, and August because it's really hot here. People still come to Phoenix even when it's really, really hot. So let's say I move away those 3 months and I go north and live in the nice weather where it's not near as hot, and I can take my house, place it on Airbnb and VRBO and these booking sites, and I could charge a per night rate and just rent my furnished house out to other people, and I could use my house to generate income. That's leveraging your own property. Then people are actually buying properties like this just for this specific purpose. They own this house, but they never live in it. They furnish it, they never live in it, and it's on Airbnb and VRBO and these booking sites year-round. And all they're doing is booking this property out and renting this property out. In fact, the house across the street from us and the house behind us are both Airbnb properties where the owners are not here 24/7 and they're renting out those properties. So again, some people do it with homes they own and live in, and others do it full-time and they actually buy the property for that purpose. Now, when you're thinking about doing a short-term rental or an Airbnb, you can do it with a house, you can do it with half of a duplex, you can do it with an apartment, you can do it with any type of living center. The other thing people do in the short-term rental game is you can actually rent out a room. You can actually rent out a room on Airbnb. Now, some people feel a little uncomfortable with this if somebody's staying in one room and they're still there, but some people don't. And so some people can rent out a room, or let's say they have a room in the basement with a separate entrance. They can rent that room out, and you say, but there's no kitchen down there. Yeah, there's no kitchen in a lot of hotel rooms either. And so, but people still book them, right? So they might stay in that room, leverage that room, and just rent that room out that's in the basement. So when you're renting out through Airbnb or VRBO with short-term rentals, it's always not the entire place. Now, when you go to those sites, you can filter it out if you want to rent a full place, which my wife and I, when we travel, we always want to rent the full place. So we'll just click entire place, and it'll only give us full apartments, condos, homes, and things like that, but it doesn't have to be that. And so I own an 8-unit apartment building. All of it's Airbnb, and it's 8 different units, identical units. And right, so every single one, it's the entire place because they're renting an apartment. But we let them know in the description that it's part of an apartment complex. And that's the idea with Airbnb or VRBO. It's so versatile. It can be a room, it can be half a house, it can be your whole house, it can be a basement room, it can be a guest house you have out back, or a casita, as we call them here in Phoenix. It can be all kinds of different methods to leverage your space in order to make money. If you think about Uber, when Uber came around, Uber said, what if we just took average everyday drivers that are driving their cars, and instead of someone having to call a taxi, you could just leverage your own car to pick people up and make money. That's what Airbnb did. You can just leverage your own house, leverage your own property, and rent it out as a hotel. So it's essentially the Uber model for vacation rentals and for hotels. And that's the way it really, really works. And if you're interested in doing this model, there's a couple things I want you to be aware of before you get started. The first one is, if you're buying a property for the sole purpose of Airbnb, there's 2 things you want to look at. Number 1, is it in an area where people travel to? So you want to make sure it's in travel destinational areas. And number 2, you want to make sure there's not cheap hotels nearby, because if there's really cheap hotels nearby that they can get a really nightly rate that's a decent hotel, if there's a Marriott up the road for $100 a night, you want to be careful, because if you come in at Airbnb at $199 a night, they might say, yeah, I'll just stay over here at the Marriott. So you want to make sure not only travel destinations, but make sure that it is a property that is not competing with the hotels at a really low rate. For example, a lot of people look at Orlando. Orlando, man, everybody's going to Orlando. Great place for Airbnb. Except it's a very saturated market in a place where you can get very low hotel rates. So it's tough to really make money. It's better to go to a higher end area on the coast, go to Redondo Beach or California, where it's a lot higher, but you can charge a lot more, $400, $500, $600 a night, and you're going to get a lot more revenue. It's the same here in Phoenix. Here in Phoenix is a great Airbnb market, but some areas don't rent out as good as others. You want to be in certain areas of Phoenix where people actually want to be. So when you're looking at properties, you need to make sure they're in areas that people travel. And the last thing you're going to want to know, which is one of the most important, is with Airbnb, you have to have a cleaning team and a maintenance team that can keep your property up to par. Every time somebody moves out, you need to send in the cleaners, turn the sheets, clean the towels, just like you would a hotel room. You have to have somebody clean up the place and getting ready for your next guest. You also have to have a maintenance team. A handle breaks off, the thermostat won't work, a toilet's clogged, whatever. You got to have a maintenance team that's going to come in and fix all that. This is really how the Airbnb model works, and I believe everybody should be leveraging this short-term rental model. And again, this video is brought to you by our Real Estate Ignition Inner Circle. If you want more information on Airbnb and how to build a business, click that link below. You can hop on the phone with our team, and we'll tell you about what this mastermind is doing, helping real estate investors like you get to the next level and really start leveling up their real estate game. Links in the description, and as always, we have loads of content on this channel just for you. So make sure you stick around, watch a bunch of videos until you're successful.